fix the problems. The challenge is to actually recognize the fundamental wealth that is here. And actually what we would do in either of those cases might be very similar. But it changes everything. If your view is a view of nothing missing, which is what we say here at Windhorse, that the view is nothing missing, which really means there's no fundamental problem. Now, that's actually only half the view. The other half is that everyone is in training. So there aren't any experts. And Suzuki Roshi had a very interesting thing to say about that when he talked about beginner's mind. He said, in the mind of the beginner, there are many possibilities. In the mind of the expert, there are very few. And so that's everyone is in training. So the view of nothing missing then is that there isn't any fundamental problem we have to fix. We just have to uncover the richness that's already there. And I think that's not just Nova Scotia. In fact, I think, being a lifelong so-called environmentalist, I think that's the biggest problem with the whole environmental movement, is that the environmental movement, generally speaking, thinks that there are huge problems that have to be fixed. So when you start from that point of view, there's kind of it's a dead end. Because if there are fundamental problems, they can't be fixed. So I think it's a matter of kind of changing the view, first of all. And then there's a whole lot that we can do to sort of bring our view into accord with our activities. And then how do we do that? How do we actually join our view with our activities is practice. So what are the practices that actually connect vision and practicality? So I think that's what we really have to work with. So at Windhorse is, sometimes people say, well, Windhorse is this great sustainable thing. Well, when I asked Marguerite the other day what I should talk about, I was giving a talk about Windhorse Farm, and she said, well, you should just talk about the failures. She said, everybody thinks it's a groovy place, but, and I think what she was getting at is that sustainability isn't like a light switch, that you turn it on or turn it off. It's a path. So our aspiration is to be, and what do we mean by sustainability? Really, I think we mean minimizing the harm that we cause to other beings and maximizing the benefit. So that's incremental in a certain way. How can we cause less harm today than we did yesterday? How can we aspire to cause less harm tomorrow than we are today? So the practice then is a path of awareness, of being really mindful of each detail of how we live and being aware of the big picture. So the practices are all around that. They're all around wakefulness and relaxation and humor. So another friend of mine says that rule number one is don't take yourself so fucking seriously. And I think that humor is a big key to it. But sometimes we say that the practices, although there are a lot of detailed practices, and I could tell you at Windhorse Farm, there's a dozen particular practices with the gardening and another bunch of practices with the shop and so on. But they're all around this, all around mindfulness and awareness and relaxation and wakefulness and kindness and compassion. But I think I was trying to think of how to summarize it the other day with somebody, and I said, well, it's really just, it's kind of a cyclical thing. Wake up, tune in. So wake up is like expand, see what's actually happening in the world. Tune in is actually tune into the details, because it's all about the details. And then let go is starting to relax. Don't take yourself so fucking seriously. And then it's just let be. Let yourself be who you are. And let everyone else be who they are. So it's just kind of that kind of relaxation, just resting. And out of that then, as the Theory U people would say, let come. Just see what comes out of that empty space. And when inspiration arises, insights arise, then be willing to engage actively and decisively. And then, of course, it's not linear. So you actively engage, and then you wake up, and then you tune in, and you let go, let be, let come, engage, wake up. So you have to just keep doing it. It's a cyclical thing. So if that's our practice, then we're actually waking up to what is the richness here. What does it look like in the big picture, and what are the details of it? And how do we let that richness into ourselves, and then how do we actually join with our families, our communities, the society altogether. So if we can actually do this, if we can join our view of nothing missing with all of the activities, and if we're talking about the province, we're talking about forestry, we're talking about health services, we're talking about forestry, we're talking about transportation, we're talking about how we generate our electricity, everything, all the activities. And are those activities actually in accord with our view? And the practices are actually how we bring them together. Waking up, relaxing, engaging.